Now it's time to put the splash guard back on and put our belts back on. "15 foot-pounds. Serve to tap down the crank front bearing housing, so you want to get them torqued properly. 89 inch-pounds. I'm going to use a mirror and a flashlight to see if the holes are lining up for the mount, and if they're not, see that the engine has to be raised a bit. Put the jack under the engine bracket. Should fit in there no problem. Put this wrench on it, just a bit of extra leverage. Three front mount nuts. 15 foot-pounds. Upper cover can go in now. "15 foot-pounds. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to replace this one. Looked to have $1 for every time that one went around for the last 186,000 miles. This one should go on at 15 foot-pounds, but I don't want to, too lazy to get the crow's foot out. But that's tight enough. Okay. Put on your new serpentine belt. Compare it up to the old one. Make sure it's the same length. You never know, you could have the wrong part. And that's that. Compare the new V-belt to the old one. It's probably going to be a little longer because as this thing wears, it actually gets more narrow, and then it will sink deeper into the pulley. And that's one way how it gets more loose, because they don't really stretch too much, but they just feed into the pulley more. The first time I ever put on a V-belt, I had a really hard time, because you try to slacken off the belt as much as possible, you still can't fit it on over the pulleys. And you think, well, I'll just turn the engine or something to try to feed it on. You can't. The easiest way to do it is to take one of the pulleys off. Then you put back the pulley. And look how easy that was. Yeah. A fellow asked me the other day, "Go to the gym, do you exercising?" I said, "Exercising. You know how fucking hard this kind of work is? Getting up, getting down. I must have got up off the floor at least 100 times the last day or so. I don't need no fucking exercising. I need a beer and some rest." Alright. What you want is for this belt to deflect 5 millimeters or 1/4 of an inch on the longest span between two pulleys. So, let's check this now. 1/4 of an inch. Now we can tighten these 15 foot-pounds. Now we can put this splash guard in place. Hooks into a little hole. distributor cap can go back on. If you ever want to replace this guy, you just pull up on it, it'll come off. It just pulls off and you can push the new one on. They're like $3-4 or something to replace. Also look inside this guy. Make sure that there's no crack or black tracing or blackness or cracks or anything like that. We mark this guy. White markers with number was. So. Under. Spark plugs. I use Bosch FR8DS. That's because this is what was in the car. It worked. I'm putting it back in. They're cheap and they work good. Gap 24 thousandths of an inch. They're supposed to come pre-gap. This is a feeler gauge 24 thou. Yeah, that's pretty close. I could probably close the gap. Just gonna cap this guy. That's a little loose. It's pretty tight there. It's pretty good. A lot of spark plugs, like with the ones with the multi-electrodes, they already come pre-gapped, or sometimes the platinum or iridium spark plugs pre-gapped. You can't gap them. So know what you're doing when you're trying to gap your spark plugs. I take a hose. You don't want to put this in cross tread. Aluminum head, soft as shit threads. So you don't want to cross tread. To prevent that, put your spark plug on a hose. And there's no way you're going to cross thread it. Also too, it gives you the ability to give you that extra distance to thread your plug in. That's it, 22 foot-pounds. Number 4. Put the bell housing stopper back in. Put the air filter back in. Plug in the mass airflow sensor. Done. Torque your wheel bolts to 75 foot-pounds. Some bigger cars, they get 80, even if it's a pickup truck, probably torque it to 90 foot-pounds. Crisscross. Thanks for watching.